We are back. What's going on, everyone? Welcome in. Welcome in. Let's get it going as we do look into week 2 in the NFL. As you guys all come into the chat, make sure you guys say what's up and get those comments flowing. And we will be waiting on everybody to kind of filter in. I know that it is a Tuesday evening, but it is 8 o'clock. I'm sure no one's doing anything but watching baseball. We don't have any college football on until Thursday as well. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how this live goes. But thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button. Please join us. And yeah, let's get this one going. So, Ben, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm a little bit late. Wanted to wait a little bit, full disclosure. Sometimes it does not go full. Everybody takes a while to get in as well because you get those notifications. But let's get this one flowing. All right. So we are going to use Outlier as always to look into the lines and what we have going on. Okay. Let me know in the comments too. Can you guys see these numbers? All right. Aussie Poo, what's happening, man? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And please hit those thumbs up. Let's get those like buttons going. That's kind of how we let YouTube know that we are live. And once we get about 20 people, I'll start kind of talking some football and run the board. And we'll get into some of the action. So let me know how you guys are doing. How did we do this weekend? Interesting game last night, Monday Night Football. That's kind of where we saw an under turned over very quickly. Very, very quickly, actually. What's up, Q the Strange? Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm guessing you were on the Vikings. JJ McCarthy looked good. Boss Daddy in the house. What's going on, man? Hit those thumbs up. Let's get this one going. I'm kind of waiting to see some baseball trickle through as well. What did we have go on here? Jordan delivered. And all right, hopefully that one does cash. We had threw over some kind of parlays on the MLB channel over on the Discord. C. Thomas, what's going on, man? Yeah, the under last night was definitely one that looked really good, myself included. I will tell you, I did love that under. I just did not bet it, and I kind of talked about it in my live stream or in my video where it was not one of the bets that I did like. But the props that I did take, it was an interesting game. I actually sprinkled on some, read some stuff about JJ McCarthy and kind of how they we're going to ease them back. And honestly, the Bears defense had a lot of emotion. They played well early on. And I ended up sprinkling a pretty nice number on the under passing attempts for JJ. So that one was, as we like to call it, a rocking chair bet. Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, Ticket Ripper. Okay, no worries. I remember you from Discord very well. Thank you. Yeah, Swift was a good one. Funny thing about that was that cash in the first half, and the rest of the game, he did not even get, I don't think, reception. I think he finished with 3. But bad number. Sometimes you will find some bad numbers early on. Kind of interested where everybody's at. I did make a couple posts about 8 p.m. We are live, and we'll see kind of who's all tuning in here. But yeah, we're looking at a lot of games that I will start going, and it'll be kind of where people will have to catch up. Jersey Cast. Oh, right on, man. Yeah, 36. I mean, yeah, if you find kind of that value, me personally, I mean, we saw it with Baltimore a little bit and the Bills, right? That's another one of those kind of where the second half can be a little bit more higher scoring. But the Bears, it was one-dimensional. The Bears did not get a lot. They did not get a lot of action there in the second half. I don't even think they're outside of a few scrambles and some late heroics that made it kind of somewhat interesting. They did not move the chains a lot here in the second half. So shout out to the Minnesota defense. Going to be very interesting, okay, to look at Minnesota for the duration of the season. And the reason why is there's a lot of Minnesota Viking fans and people close to that organization that think this is one of the best Minnesota Vikings teams that they have seen. It'll be different, right? But hey, if they could get Sam Darnold to have a Pro Bowl season and get the job done with that receiving core, they're only going to get healthier as the season goes on. And talked a lot about Jordan Mason, and going to be very interesting seeing him be a complementary. I should say Aaron Jones being the complementary back in that system. Very clear that Mason will be the bell cow there for the Vikings. So yeah, let's get it going. I don't know where everybody's at. I tried to wait as long as I can, but we'll kind of get this one going. And I'm going to try to do this a little bit better so that way you guys can see the window. Oh, here we go. So we will look at this way. That way you guys can see a little bit better. I think this one works. Yeah, that's a little bigger on your guys' end. Okay. So I will tell you guys, there are a lot of things that I liked in week one. One thing to note about week one was we did see the favorites. Okay. The favorites definitely shine through. Very significant week one favorites, and also unders week one are another angle that I do like within the NFL. Kind of system wise, historically, we saw the favorites go 8-4 ATS on Sunday, and that's very noteworthy. Okay, 13-3 straight up, and was able to kind of win my family pool. So we did get some, those were kind of where no spreads are involved. It's more of a confidence pool. So usually when I do win that, the favorites do prevail. But one game that I kind of was on that last week that I don't think anybody else was, I think the Browns were the sharpest pick of the week. One note to kind of take from the Browns-Bengals, a little bit of a overreaction maybe on that Browns defense, but they have their own injuries. And I think they held the Bengals to like something silly, like 7 yards or something in the second half, or I forget what the statistic was I did here, but that was one of my biggest takeaways of week one. Also, I think we're going to have to temper the emotions on the Green Bay Packers right now. If you want to run out there and find the best futures price available for the Packers, fine. I will not be mad at you, but that's something where I think a lot of people are willing to give them the ring a little bit too early. Okay. A couple other things that did jump off at the page of me with week one. Okay. I want to share those thoughts. Let me just kind of pull up my game notes of NFL week one. Okay. And if you guys want some music, I can put some on in the background. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, stock up on the Cowboys. Very impressed what they were able to do against the Eagles. Historically, the Eagles in the regular season, they kind of start slow, in my opinion. And very tough team ATS that are with the Eagles. Bong Tokes in the house. What's up, man? The one other game was the Chargers-Chiefs. Like the Chargers a lot. Not willing to go stock down on the Chiefs quite yet. I think they are going to grow throughout the season. And kind of in my own camp, but I do like the Chiefs to bounce back here in week two. That game was a little wacky one. Mahomes got to get some protection, okay? He still is running for his life. But when they got that all kind of figured out, it was very interesting to see kind of how he was able to make it close in the second half. That's kind of how I feel about it. There was just basically one touchdown deciding that game, to be, fully honest with what kind of went down. And, as we look into week one further, Dolphins, right? It's crusty, but I'm going to kind of tease it here. Do not be shocked if we see a little bit of a correction here, a little overreaction on the Dolphins, right? They looked horrible. I'm not sure on Worthy. I can look into that real quickly, but that was a little friendly fire as Kelsey kind of laid him out. But looking forward to this matchup with the Chiefs and Eagles here. That will be the midday, kind of 4 o'clock, the later slate. And look at the notes here within Philly and KC. Significantly, AJ. Yeah, Kelsey, I saw a funny reel actually on social media where the Kelsey Taylor Swift podcast, she was saying that Worthy was like her favorite player or something. And then they kind of did a little conspiracy theory because it was Travis Kelce, who laid him out. Thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, looking back at week one, Cardinals played the Saints. Nothing really to take away from that game. Saints are, pretty much bottom barrel of the league. Murray played hurt. The Raiders, I will tell you this, Geno Smith, stock up on Geno Smith. If you guys are in daily fantasy itself, that's kind of where you can look into the Geno Smith stuff. I think that Brock Bowers is going to be absolutely insane. There was a bet that I did like quite a bit with Geno Smith that I did not share with you guys, and it ended up coming one rushing attempt short. I don't want to say I'm a guru, but I do probably bet quarterback rushing attempts more than pretty much anybody else in this handicapping world. That's probably my sweet spot, right? Touchdowns and quarterback rushing attempts. It's kind of an interesting market, but I think that it provides a lot of opportunity with the kneel downs and kind of the game script coinciding. Okay. Also, kind of looking back, Aaron Rodgers, very impressed what he did. He almost had 250, 4 TDs there for the Steelers. Nice to see them. As a Browns fan, kind of worried about that. And also, Justin Fields played exceedingly well. I think Garrett Wilson almost had 100 yards and a tutty. The one thing I'll say, though, about the Steelers is they give up 32 points to the Jets. I know they were on the road, but they spent a lot of money on that defense. I think I just saw they brought in Jabril Peppers. So that's something interesting to note. And also, Jaguars, I think they're for real. Okay. I think the Jags are for real. Going to be kind of interesting to see how this kind of settles down. Broncos, Titans. I kind of impressed with what resilience the Broncos had and kind of the fight the Titans had on the road. It's tough to play at altitude, but that was one where I think they did get the job done on the road. Nobody really thought they would cover the spread, no one thought that they had any chance to cover the spread, and they ended up doing so, winning or losing 20-12, depending on when you bet that or how you bet that. But I believe the Broncos closed at 8.5. Okay. But yeah, the Purdy injury, that's something where, looking at that a little bit, but he looked good. Okay. And also McCaffrey, interesting to note kind of with him. He almost had 20, he had 20 plus carries and does not look like the old McCaffrey. We'll see kind of how that, manifests throughout the season. Okay. The other takeaways that I did have, impressed with the Rams picking up where they left on that second half rush that they did last season. Holding the Texans, kind of debilitating them, going against that Texans defense in a close game. Some people think the Texans may have the best defense in the NFL. I hope so. They're on my fantasy team. And Ravens, Bills, looks like they're all set to meet each other in the AFC Championship again, if we do get to see that. And so that's pretty much all my takeaways. There were a couple other notes that I did have. Daniel Jones there for the Colts. That's going to be very fascinating. Okay, so Daniel Jones, great kind of storyline there. Let's see if he can kind of, have some running room. He 22, 29, highly efficient, almost 300 yards passing. See kind of how Danny Dimes does, but was impressed with his week 1 outing, albeit it was against the Dolphins, and the Dolphins looked like they were still kind of doing walkthroughs off the bus. So kind of how I looked at that game. Not too concerned with these week 1 takeaways. I'm not going to fully dismiss a team. Just for example, the Browns, right? As good as they looked, it would not shock me if they went under their win total, still at 4.5 for this season. Okay. I'd say they look good, but it's still the Browns. Okay. And everybody's kind of ragging on the Dolphins, but would not shock me if the Dolphins finished a little bit higher up on the ladder than the Browns once the season does get kind of said and done. But I would kind of, let you know that the Saints, for all things considered, how bad they think the Saints are, a little bit more fight. Okay. A little bit more fight in my opinion. So keep that in mind. All right. But we'll get into this week 1 action. I'm not going to really talk too many props here. Just kind of get my initial off the cuff. I don't have any bets out there yet. I am kind of partial to the number that we saw with Washington and Green Bay. So I want to share with you guys kind of what I'm doing there. We kind of got the worst of it, to be honest, because if you did get it on very early, okay, you were going to be able to get that that number that did climb because of the overreaction with the Packers. So at first glance, Debo Samuel, I think he's going to be kind of the breakout fantasy player if he stays healthy this season. That's kind of where I stand within that. But kind of like the points here with Washington. Okay. And as we look at the kind of numbers off the cuff, if you can't see this on your screen, let me know. I can kind of do some things on my end to zoom this in. But as we see it right now, okay, +3.5 for the Commanders. Kind of digging the points here on the road. I know it will be a primetime game in Lambeau. It could be very interesting to the under, kind of where I see it. But I want to do some more research on this. A couple things I do like. Probably Josh Jacobs continuing his touchdown streak from last season. It's kind of, I think, an NFL record right now, or the highest active, I should say, in the NFL. I don't know if it's the actual record, but the Commanders, I do kind of favor them partially getting the field goal in the hook here on Thursday night at first glance. Okay. Going down the board, Chicago and Detroit, back-to-back NFC North games for the Bears. And yeah, I think they're going to be kind of in a world of hurt. Detroit, I know they kind of looked shaky, I guess would be the word, against Green Bay. They lost both of their coordinators, but I do think that the Lions are the correct side. I could see them taking down the Bears with ease. And if anybody's out there looking for a nice futures bet, check out the Minnesota Vikings to win the NFC North. That could be one that maybe interests me as we get deeper into the season. Maybe some value before we get potentially to like week 8. I think that the Vikings could be a nice selection there with some plus money. Okay. But yeah, so I kind of like the Lions here. Kind of like the over as well, to be honest, because I do think that we will see some points here in this game at first glance, and the number as it presents itself between this has dropped a little bit. It opened at 48.5. We are seeing 46.5 in the market, and kind of a reverse line movement as this has fallen from the opening number, as we do have a little bit more money there on the Lions over between them and the Bears. Okay. Next game, Buffalo and the Jets. I think Buffalo bounces back. This is another game that does have shootout written all over it. They are playing in New York, so you have to make sure you understand if the wind is blowing side to side. That kind of does play a role. But I'm really not sold on the Jets quite yet. I don't love the Buffalo defense. I think that they have a lot of issues, a lot of injuries. I think the middle linebacker and 2 defensive backs still will be out for this game. So we could get points once again. And Josh Allen and company, they are clicking. That was something very impressive to see go against that Baltimore defense in week 1. All right. New England and Miami. We'll talk about that a little bit deeper. All right. I think that as we look at the Dolphins, it's kind of hard to not back the Patriots here in this spot. But I got to tell you guys, it's ugly. This might be one of my crusty bets of the week, but I hate to say it. I kind of like the Dolphins here. It'll be interesting. I know they looked horrible. I know it might be an overreaction. But if we're going to really talk about the numbers and the movement that we have seen, I just not sold yet, and I'm not willing to cash in on either team right now. But I do think that the Dolphins, as a favorite, is very intriguing. Okay, and I think that's why we're kind of seeing the number drop a little bit. It opened at 2.5. I think a lot of people are kind of coming in on the Patriot side of it. But just being honest, it is kind of crusty. It's probably the ugliest bet of the week, but I am going to be intrigued with the Dolphins. I don't think I'm going to try to be sharp on this one. I don't think I'm going to try to do it, but if the Dolphins win and or cover, this is going to be kind of interesting to kind of see play out. Don't be shocked that they do. That's what I'm trying to say. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to make me back it as an official play. Giants and the Cowboys, we'll talk about that one. This is kind of where we're going to see an interesting game as well. Hard not to like the Cowboys. There is a lot of ways that I would approach this. Personally, I think the Cowboys might be the correct side, and I do think that we potentially could get some points. I don't like Dallas's defense at all. But at a -5.5 number, I don't know if that might be a little bit too much in my book to lay with the Cowboys. And that might be one of the stay away games of the week as well. That is a divisional game to kind of kick off week 2. And as much as I'd love to kind of back the noise, back the Cowboys, I just don't see it personally. And I think that the Giants played the Commanders. They failed to score. I think that's something where it's going to be tough for them to play early on. I think they're growing at the quarterback position, and it'll be interesting to see what the Cowboys do. Right. Seeing this kind of play out with the Eagles game, it's a rivalry game. The Cowboys were on the road. They come back home, play on the turf. I could see Dallas winning by 35 points, but I will tell you guys, based on what we saw week one with all the favorites cashing, do not be shocked if we don't get a little bit of a dog have its day kind of week in the NFL. Okay. I think that the money lines were fruitful, but in week two, I kind of look for that change up a little bit. It would not shock me whatsoever if the ugly dogs cashed in week two, and that's kind of why I'm going to have a lot of hesitancy. Might be going sparing with the official plays because I am going to target some games that I do like, but I'm not willing to go out on a ledge yet for some of these dogs that we have that, like you guys are even saying, your Giants, your Dolphins, your Browns. I just don't see it yet, to be quite honest. So we'll kind of have to give them a little bit more time before we start backing the dogs in these spots. Okay. Giants and the 49ers and the Saints. This is going to be interesting because, like we talked about a little bit, the health concerns that we have in this game. It's kind of one where you look into George Kittle. He's on the injury reserve for over a month. Also, kind of Brock Purdy. What will Mac Jones give you? Okay. Hard to kind of fathom a game where this game does not feature Christian McCaffrey. And, I don't really see New Orleans scoring too many points on that 49ers defense. And it's very hard to imagine the 49ers scoring as well. So this is kind of one where if you do think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, a very defensive laden team on both sides, I guess that's kind of their bread and butter, if you will, offensively. I don't know what we're going to have in this game. So the number has fallen since the injuries from 44.5 down to 42.5. So keep that in mind. And I don't think it's too late, right? 42.5 is kind of one of those numbers in the NFL that I do want to kind of get behind. And I don't think it's too late to be backing the under here in this spot in full transparency. I think we're still in range. If it goes below 42, that might be enough to kind of keep me away from it. All right. But as we look at it, guys, the under is kind of the side that I would be targeting between these two clubs off of rip. Okay. Next, let's get into the action that we have. And this is another one that kind of goes alongside the Dolphins at first glance. Got to do some more homework and research on the numbers. But Cleveland, this is a lot of points, guys. This is a lot of points. 11.5 is a very extensive spread. All right. And it's ugly. It doesn't even sound right saying it out loud too many times. But Flacco going against his old team kind of gets me a little bit of Browns fever here. And like we talked about, if the Bengals were any other opponent, I think that the Browns own Burrow. The stats back that up. But if we look at Baltimore and what they've been able to do here, coming off a loss, if Baltimore was able to win against Buffalo, it would kind of give me a different direction with this. But I want to tell you guys that I do think there is a very strong avenue to talk about within the Browns-Ravens, right? I think that we have a very significant underdog role here in week two. And, if you want to look into the avenue where you take, say, the Browns, in a teaser, you get 17.5. I don't really mind that. Okay. I don't really mind that. I don't know what is going to get, what we're going to get with Judkins. If he is going to suit up, how much he's going to be available. Time will tell, but the Browns got a winner with the Fannin. If he's still available in your fantasy league, I do recommend that you guys check out Fannin coming out of Bowling Green for the Browns. And he seemed to have a nice connection there with Joe Flacco there in week one. And be very fascinating game. Okay, this will be the one as a Browns fan I'll be watching for sure, seeing Flacco go against his old team. And was always kind of a hater on Joe Flacco when he was in Baltimore. Couldn't stand playing against the Ravens. If you guys know the Art Modell history and past, you know what I'm talking about. But just being honest with you guys, kind of become a little accustomed to Flacco fever, if you will. And yeah, the 11.5, that's a lot of points. Okay. And we were on the Browns week one. So it is something where they don't really cover for as bad as they've been. But there are some seasons when they end up being a good cover team. So we'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Defensively, you got to stop Lamar. And what we saw within Zay Flowers, too, a lot of speed on the outside. The Ravens look really good. But I do think that there is a chance where we can Schlesinger for the Browns. It's going to be a very good linebacker to have kind of with that spy role. I know that they're missing Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah for that position that would just kind of track and hunt Lamar Jackson when he gets outside the pocket. So we'll see if he can kind of keep up with them. But I just want to tell you guys, this is an ugly game. And, at first glance, kind of the under 45 juiced up, and the Browns with the 11.5. That's a lot of points. Okay. So from a numbers perspective, kind of what I'm looking into within that week 2 matchup. Seahawks and Steelers, little DK Metcalf fever as he will be taking on his old club. Probably going to look into this number before the public hits it within his receiving stats and props. Rodgers is that guy, right? He has that revenge card. Excuse me. I kind of see Rodgers being fruitful to him. I would not be shocked if he force feeds them, to be honest. So if you are going to look into stuff like that, I would go DK Metcalf, longest reception. Kind of that resonates with me right now. DK Metcalf touchdown and probably receptions, right? Or even targets if you're able to bet that market. Not necessarily yards, right? Not necessarily yards. We got to kind of tune into the Seattle defense, as we saw in week 1, what they were able to do in their matchup within the 49ers. They held the 49ers to 17 points. Okay. So that was very much a good takeaway from that game. And for all things considered, kind of a sneaky little play there on the Seahawks, right? The 3 points. I think that Pittsburgh may have overachieved a little bit. Also, the total set under 40. That's where I would have it personally. So that's something I do want to keep an eye on as the week goes on. But I probably will be targeting DK Metcalf in a lot of props here between the Seahawks and the Steelers. Okay. Still on the 1 o'clock hour, the slate for the early games. We have the Rams and the Titans squaring off. Kind of like the Rams here. Okay. They are on the road. Kyron Williams touchdowns, right? I did make a bet there on DraftKings for him to have the most touchdowns in the NFL. It's going to be hard kind of taking that away from Derrick Henry, but the age concern does give me a little bit of a pause with that. How healthy will he be throughout the course of the season? Playing the AFC North. He's a bell cow. He's a workhorse and very durable, as he has kind of had a little shakeup in Tennessee at times, but being used a lot more effectively and efficiently in Baltimore's system, I think, and that will play a role to kind of keeping him healthy and on the field. But for the Titans-Rams, guys, this is one where I think we're going to see a lot of issues there for the Titans deeper into the season. We still have, Tajay Spears and all that consideration in their backfield. But very impressed with how they played the Broncos. I think the Broncos might have had a little sophomore slump. Kind of called that one, honestly. The Broncos were kind of that darling team in the end of the season. And for all things considered, I think they did overperform last year. And as good as that defense is, just shocked that they were not able to kind of hold Tennessee back. They held them to a lot of field goals, but still, I think that the Rams offer a little bit of a tougher task maybe than the Broncos did offensively as they do square off against the Titans. So kind of where I stand. This one will be very interesting to handicap a little later on in the week. 41.5 is an interesting number as well. I think Rams team total kind of attracts me right now at first glance. I will look into that, but this is a game where I would not be shocked if we got another low scoring kind of just, the Rams running the ball, Stafford play action, dumps, continuous clock, and just a lot of goal line runs, and just don't really know if we're going to get a lot of explosive plays to result in touchdowns that would take us over a 42. So that's how I see that game playing out. So very kind of, I guess you would say, strong indication to the under as we get into closer to kickoff between the Rams and Titans. Okay. Jags and Bengals, very interested in this game. I kind of do want to get behind the over 49.5. ETN ran the ball well. I think that is going to be a very dynamic offense as they bring in Ben Johnson, and, all things considered, I'm sorry, as they, not Ben Johnson, apologies on that one. Yeah, not Ben Johnson. The coach that was for I got to read this real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this is where I believe it was the Bengals. Yeah, so many. Yeah, Liam Cohen. Okay, so he's the guy that came over to Jacksonville. Okay, and this is something where I do think that he has very significant opportunity here to do something with this offense. Okay, most notably because he was the guy with Baker Mayfield in kind of turning his career around. Okay, so keep that one in mind. I'm very stock up on the Jags offensively. I think Travis Hunter. It was very interesting to see him targeted more than Brian Thomas was in Week 1, and a very plus matchup for Brian Thomas too, mind you. Okay, so keep an eye on that one. I do like the Jags. I'm not really quite sure what we're going to get from the Bengals. I think this one is going to be a very high scoring affair. Would not shock me. Playing in Cincinnati, that defense is absolutely atrocious. Same song and dance, right? Bengals, no offensive line, no defense. And I think we get points pretty much across the board. Really concerned, though, with the Bengals run game a little bit. And quite frankly, I'm very shocked on how the Browns were able to suppress that offensive air game for the Bengals as well. So at first glance, I do like the Jags plus 3.5. I just don't want to overreact and get too high on the Jaguars this early in the season. Broncos and Colts. This one might be one of the games of the week in the AFC. We get horses on horses, okay? And Denver goes on the road. You got to look in kind of those numbers. But the Indianapolis Colts, very impressed. I know that this was against the Dolphins, but still, for what they were able to do, and kind of lean towards the under 42.5. I think that Daniel Jones is not, playing at an MVP caliber. I don't care what anybody says. I know a lot of people are kind of taking those long shots on him, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Okay. So I do think that we get a under 43. If you want to back that, kind of where I'm at first glance for this game. And also kind of Denver on the money line. It's shocking to me that the respect that Indy's getting, basically saying that if this game was being played in Mile High, or in Denver, I should say. I don't know what their stadium's called, actually. This would be kind of a field goal game, nonetheless, in the opposite direction. That was very interesting to me, okay? And I think that's Denver's defense is a complete upgrade from Miami's. So it's kind of just that low-hanging fruit number where you just want to jump on the Denver Broncos, but kind of where I'm at within the stock of the Broncos. I'm not willing to kind of crown them that the AFC West. I'm not kind of, they are a wild card team at best, in my opinion. Okay. And that's kind of where I stack up on that. All right. But the Colts, very impressed. We'll kind of give them another week before we anoint them the best team in their division as well. Carolina and Arizona. This will be an intriguing game. A lot of points to lay against the Panthers here. Okay. The Cardinals lay almost 7 points. And I do think the Cardinals do prevail in this game. Very impressed with their offense. I think that we're going to get a nice high flying kind of offense here. I kind of like the 44 going over. That's where I'm at between the Cardinals and Panthers. And I know the Dogs will have their day this week, but this is kind of where I like a lot of totals. And at first glance, I do like Panthers Cardinals going over. I think that, if Bryce Young gets kind of on track to what he closed out 2024 with, it's going to be very interesting to watch. Okay. And same thing goes for the Cardinals because very dynamic James Conner, Kyler Murray, as well as we do have Marvin Harrison Jr. in his sophomore season. Very intrigued with that matchup. Okay. Eagles Chiefs. I probably will be one of the only people that think that Travis Kelce is going to have a good season this year. Just kind of reversion to the mean, if you will. Very, very big on the Kansas City side. Okay. They're playing in Arrowhead. This is kind of the rematch of the Super Bowl. Have to look into some ATS numbers with the Super Bowl rematches here. But I think that Kansas City, I think they'll be more ready and prepared to play this game. Okay. And also you could take that stance, right, where you just say, hey, the Eagles won the Super Bowl and they won significantly. And I don't think that the Chiefs can, even kind of, I think they were better last year, basically. I understand that. Okay. But I also say that, there are very interesting kind of circumstances where sometimes, it's just, you got to be the better team that day. Okay. And I think that the Eagles were, and I really kind of fall into the camp that it may have just been the Eagles' day and they caught the Chiefs a little bit at the right time. And I think that the Chiefs this year, coming off a loss, I think that this is something where in Arrowhead, I'm kind of on the Chiefs here in this one, but don't know if I'm going to be backing this one. I will be watching for sure. But it's just kind of one of those games where you might be a spectator on, or this number could be completely dead ass wrong. Okay. So, I think a lot of people who watch Philly play Dallas, they were vulnerable at times against the Cowboys. Okay. And now they play a very vaulted Kansas City defense at home with a very hungry crowd that's a little bit upset they lost the Super Bowl, where they were very confident in. So this is not something where I'm willing to kind of give them that win without kind of looking into this a little bit deeper. So I do like the Chiefs here, probably more than most, but I'm not willing to bet it yet. I still want to do my numbers. I will have my picks out probably Thursday or Friday for the NFL Sunday action. Okay. Falcons and Vikings. This will be an interesting one. Okay. A little NFC showdown within this game. I think that the Vikings are definitely stock up. They're going to have some momentum. But the Falcons, they were able to, come back a little bit, but then ultimately the Buccaneers ended up winning that game. And I think that as we look at this one, Michael Penix is legit. Drake London, Bijan Robinson, great kind of comparisons there with Michael Vick. And saw a funny meme. If you guys saw that one, please let me know in the comments. But if you take one of the letters out of the last name, you got lefty quarterbacks that are eerily similar to each other. And you could do the math on that one with Michael Penix and Michael Vick. Just one letter off from some anatomy concerns, but that was a funny meme that I saw earlier on in the day, so I thought I'd share with you guys. But I kind of look at this game a little bit, a couple different ways. Vikings are legit, and they get healthier this week, or we will see kind of a very defensive-minded game. 20-23 for the Vikings and Buccaneers. Would not shock me if this one went under the total as well. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. I like a lot of unders this week. Okay. But at first glance, guys, the Falcons are going to be, it's basically a sophomore on sophomore. I know it's kind of JJ McCarthy's first year physically, but, with experience wise, it is a sophomore on sophomore quarterback game. So kind of lined up that way for me, guys. I think that the Vikings should be favored. They are at home, and Falcons off a loss is very intriguing for me. So I do kind of like them a little bit, plus 193 there on the money line, and also favor to the under. Okay. No official bet that I will be making at this moment. Okay. Buccaneers and the Texans will be our Monday night game. Okay. And I think as we look into kind of what we have going on with that, I think the Houston Texans are going to be struggling for a while offensively. Okay. And personally, primetime Baker, we're going to be on his rushing attempts. He's going to be flushed outside the pocket. I do like the Buccaneers a little bit more so than most. But as we do await Chris Godwin to come back and regain some of that health, and, Mike Evans' farewell tour. Okay. I think that's kind of where you look into what he's going to be offering. And the Texans defense, they can ball. Okay. There's no joke about that. Probably the best defense in the NFL for my money. And that's going to be a very interesting game. So I do like the under quite a bit. I think that we will see a low-scoring affair. It's a primetime under Monday Night Football. Probably going to get on that game, honestly. If you do like the Monday night game, I think this one may sniff 40.5, maybe even 41.5. But that's kind of where I'm at, as I do favor the under. The number actually has dropped a lot, right? The opening number was actually 46.5. So we're kind of in that territory where it's almost unbettable based on value. And that's the only thing kind of keeping my finger off of that trigger. Also, I do think that we we'll see a better performance from Houston at home. So that's kind of how I see this game playing out. But kind of on the side of the Texans, I do like that. This is a coin flip game, in my opinion. And I would have been on the primetime under, but we're getting the worst of it. So this is one where I think a lot of players out there jumped on this line right at the open. So that's kind of how we see the Monday night game shaping out. And then we do get the AFC West action between the Raiders and Chargers. That will be another Monday night game that we will have late night. So it will be a late kind of go to bed kind of, I guess you'd say, late bedtime there for me. So that'll be fun. We'll get used to it. We'll be watching some baseball too. But Chargers, Raiders, that's kind of how I see this game playing out. Like the Chargers, okay? I think Justin Herbert is going to be for real this year. He has a new offensive coordinator that I think that will be very much to his style. And also we see Geno Smith with the Raiders, kind of where I like in the over in this game, right? I think they're going to be able to have their way. And, you kind of look how the Chiefs play. Historically, they do play in a lot of lower scoring games. So I'm not alarmed by that total. I know that it was a lower scoring game between the Chargers and the Chiefs. It did go over, actually, for the official number. But for this one, guys, I still like the over as well. It's at 46.5 right now. So if the Raiders are legit and they are going to be offensively very dynamic, if Geno Smith can throw for 400 yards every single week out, I'll tip my cap. But I don't think he'll hit those numbers. But I do think that this will be kind of very fruitful this season there. A lot of weapons there for the Raiders and Geno. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. Brock Bowers, I think he did get banged up a little bit, but the health, I don't think is that serious. So we'll see him back in action. And kind of where you look into the Chargers, right? Going against that vaulted Chiefs defense. They were in Brazil, but they look very, very dynamic. And I like the Chargers, but laying that 3.5. If this number does reach 3, I might get tempted. But another game where I like the total a little bit more so than the side, and it is that Monday night primetime under trend that we do like to follow. But I still think this is an over spot, and one that I do think the number will move a little bit. It did open at 43.5, mind you. We've already seen movement up to 47, 46.5 out there in some places. So keep that one in mind. Okay. So that's about it. That is kind of my rundown of the entire card. You guys have tuned in for a long time. I do appreciate it. And leave a comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let's get a little, I'll open up the floor, let you guys kind of tell me what you're thinking for week 2 before we get kind of out of here and kind of call it a night. Boss Daddy, best pick 3, pick 4 NFL. Haven't made my official plays yet. I am going to be targeting a lot of unders, and I know you're not supposed to do it, but with the line movements, I might be doing a little teaser action there with some totals. Just first glance before I do my numbers and make my official plays. I like Washington. I know we don't have the 4 anymore in the market. Like Washington, it's crusty, but I think the Miami line's fishy. It smells like the Dolphins are the correct side. I know it's ugly, but I kind of like the Dolphins here. Dallas is juicy. It's just a big number for them to lay in division, so that's kind of one that does give me some pause. The Browns with 11.5 against the Ravens. That's kind of on the board as well. Will the Browns go 2-0 ATS to kick off the season? Who knows? Okay. And then also we talk a little bit about Seattle +3. I kind of like that one first glance. And probably going to be on the side of the Jags, 3 in the hook. Kind of like that one a little bit off the cuff. Denver Indy's interesting. Okay. Denver Indy is very, very interesting. And there's a lot of action right now on the Colts side. And I don't disagree with it. I hate to say it. I hate to back Danny Dimes, but I don't disagree with it. And then I like the Chiefs, and that's kind of an island play for me. And then, the under with Tampa Bay and Houston, and the over there with the Chargers and the Raiders. Those are probably my short list of plays that I am leaning towards right now. We haven't narrowed it down to what I'm actually going to be betting, but just at first glance, that's kind of what got me intrigued. Cross for Thursday. Haven't really digested all of that yet. I will have those numbers out. Got to look at some kind of schematic stuff with how I think the Packers are going to try to handle Jalen Daniels. It's a completely different game with a mobile quarterback versus Jared Goff. Okay. Very familiar, but still completely different handicap. Will Jordan Love scramble for 5.5 or more? I would say yes. Okay. I would say yes, especially with what we have in Washington for defense, the way that they like to call games. I think he'll have some running lanes. That probably is on my short list of quarterbacks that we'll be targeting. The only thing that does kind of make me nervous with him is he has a lot of potential for negative yards and in kneel downs. But I do think that he will have at least one for 5.5. So, that's just kind of where I'm at. And kind of shocked on that one. Are you sure it's 5.5? Is that his longest is that his longest rush or is that his total yards? Because he had 68 yards last game. Let's take a look at that one. I think I would be very shocked if his rushing total was at 5.5. I think that, are you referring to the longest rush? Yeah, I mean his rushing total is at 43.5. So are you talking about the longest rush? Or I'm sorry, Jordan Love. I'm sorry, I thought you meant Jaden Daniels. Um, yeah, that's interesting to look back at this. Very interesting. So these are the 2024 numbers. These are the 2024 numbers. That's probably the best way to do it. So yeah, just giving you some insight where we're at, looking at the Washington rushing defense versus quarterbacks, middle of the pack, slightly shifted towards in favor of this. But I do think that Josh Jacobs is how I would approach this game. And looking at the head-to-head from last year, they did not play each other, so it's going to be very hard to use any of that data. But yeah, that's a good number, man. That's a fair price, and wow, that's actually a really good number to have on that one. So there probably are better ones to kind of target. Just being honest with you guys. Yeah, that's one of the defensive guys that we have to kind of key in on for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not. I don't want to say, Denver. A lot of people say they have the best defense in the NFL. Them and Houston. I'm just not willing to anoint them this early. Okay, if you looked at Denver, I know they were a growing team, but I mean, just looking at Denver on some 2024 numbers, it wasn't the best kind of, how should I say this, the best at times, right? There was a reason why they had to do a lot of miraculous things to get into the playoffs late in the season. 2024 for Denver. Okay, this is where we'll look at some statistics. But the Colts are 6-2, 75% in their last 8 games at home. And that kind of goes all out the window with a different quarterback. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. Denver and the Colts. Okay, so yeah, Denver won 31-13 against the Colts last season. So take that for what it's worth. I know it's a completely different Colts team. That was about right when they had to make that quarterback transition as well. So yeah, we'll have some better, more in-depth numbers. I haven't finished all of my deep dives, I guess you would say. A lot of people do bet the first day the numbers come out just solely on the numbers, which way they're going to move. They want the closing line value. I do that, but it's something where it's not my end all be all just betting based on numbers, right? I want to see kind of how people get out of injuries. I want to see kind of how the numbers move first and foremost, and that'll kind of give me some indication. And missing out on a half point isn't the biggest thing in the world if you're on the correct side with just 3 to 5 games. Well, that's good to know. I have to add that one to my handicap for sure. So what else you guys got? Anything popping? Got some big time college football games this weekend. Just kind of segueing into that a little bit. If you guys have any more NFL comments, leave them now. But some big games we're going to be talking about, just kind of highlighting them. Wisconsin, Alabama, interesting. Not fully, going to be in love with that one. Clemson, Georgia Tech be a decent game. We can talk a lot about the rivalry there, Pittsburgh and West Virginia going at it. And Georgia, Tennessee, the game of the week, game day will be there. Kind of liking the Volunteers here in this spot. I'm really kind of concerned with Georgia's offense, and it's in Tennessee. I think the shift from Nico, can't even pronounce his last name, but we'll call him Nico I. Okay, that's something to keep in mind, and kind of favor the points here at home. A little low hanging fruit, and then also we can talk about South Florida, Miami. That's a game that I think will be my all eyes on that one. Okay. I want to see how good Miami actually is, because South Florida, after beating Florida in the swamp and then taking down Boise State, very impressed with them. And I think that 18th ranking is a little bit low, to be honest. I think they should be in the top 15 for sure. But 17.5, that's a big number. Okay. They've covered 6 straight games, and Byron Brown is absolutely dynamic. So, that'll be a fun one. I kind of wish it was in South Florida, to be honest, because that would give them a considerable advantage away from Hard Rock. Some other games worth of note: OU and Ohio State. I know it's kind of a lopsided game, but OU did win the MAC, and you guys saw the mascots getting into it last season as they took the field. That one will be very intriguing to look into. Okay, 31.5. It's a big spread. We'll see what happens. If the Buckeyes drop 60, I do think it's going to be something where it's not going to matter what the spread is. But that's one I definitely have my eyes on. I called the Ohio game last week straight up, took the points, but I did like them a little bit on the money line. And then a little deeper down, okay, we could talk about the late night affairs, and that's going to be where we could talk about, Arkansas, Ole Miss. But for me, guys, you know what it is. It's going to be Texas A&M and Notre Dame. Also, LSU, Florida at the same time. So great football we have early on in the season. Kind of watching Vladdy right now. Need him to come through here. He's 0 for 2 with a K. 0 for 2 with a K. We got it done with Jordan. We need a little Vladdy pop here. Wouldn't mind a little solo shot. And here we go. We got Vladdy on the board with a single. All right, boys. We are in business. Just need a few more to come home. We got a lot of props on the Discord. So we need him to get home. We need somebody to plate Vladdy right now. Please plate me some Vladdy. We got to get over 1.5, so he needs a score here, and he needs to get a run. And then it could get interesting, because I think that if you guys saw my parlay I put over on the Discord, the Guardians cashed, and Philly is looking like they got that one wrapped up. So we just need one more hit. We need we could get in some very interesting territory here. And 9:38 between the Minnesota and Angels game. So I will be hedging out of that, just to let you guys know. We'll be trying to get a middle with the under. Have it fall directly on 9 runs. That would be awesome. But we need to get we got some money on the line right now if Vladdy gets another hit, run, or RBI. So I don't know. Springer went deep, so maybe Dalton Varsho can leave the yard. That would make things a little bit easier for us, as we won't have to root for some late game heroics. But 3-1 game right now in the bottom of the 6th. Yeah, Guardians was kind of like my free bet of the day. I did bet the Phillies. I wish I gave it out on the channel. That was one where I just don't trust the Sean Manaea numbers are just absolutely abysmal. But the Mets are tough to bet against, because they could just drop 10 on you on any given night. So sometimes these little the bigger games with the Mets playing in, I think they kind of over perform their expectations a lot of times. The link for the Discord is in the description of every video that I'm in. So you just have to click that link and it will take you over. And then from there, guys, you can just join. Jake Bates plus 7 points. What are you? Oh, the kicker over 6.5 or 7 or more. Yeah, same thing, right? Um, yeah, that's a nice little. I like kicker props too. I think those are two of the props I target most. That would be um, that would definitely be the markets with kickers, quarterback runs, touchdowns. Those are props that I kind of look to target more than most people, I would say. Come on, Blatty. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Gave out the Tigers too as a lean. They're up 4-2 on the Yankees. Bases loaded, no outs. That was a very strong play as well. If you back Casey Mize, just didn't like the matchup for Will Warren. Come on now. Come on, Blatty. Boy, would a double in the gap be very, very crucial right now. That's a $2,000 swing, basically. Come on now. He struck out. Okay, runner on first, 2 outs. Need to get him in scoring position. That would make things a lot smoother. That way we could score on a single. So Varsho's down on strikes, and then we do have. Okay, I can get down with a little Alejandro Kirk. You can pop one every once in a while. Down 292 on the season. He's due. He's due. Come on now. I don't root, but this is kind of one where I have a tee. I have this teed up, and if Vladdy can go over 1.5 before the 9:38 first pitch, we can kind of get behind. We can lock in some profits because the Guardians and Phillies are pretty much in the door. Just waiting for my game tracker to flash a 3-3 score, so that way we could get 3-3, little 2-run shot. That'd be awesome. He will get another at bat, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But it would be nice just to lock this in while we got him on the base paths. Schwarber just hit a homer. Yeah, he was on my list. I talked about that in my video too. He was due. He hasn't hit a home run in a while. Nope. Lazy fly ball to short center. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap this one up. For some reason, not a lot of people tune in these live streams. I don't understand why. But it is what it is. So, what else do we have? Yeah, that would be really freaking nice. Hopefully, the Brewers win. Down in the third. Tell you what, the Tigers are about to put it on the Yankees right now. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, it's crazy. We're gonna have some bad days, but it's been very, very much a good start to the season. Um, well, hopefully the Blue Jays bat around in the seventh. They will get the bat in the ninth if they are down, and hopefully at worst case, Vladdy gets 2 more cracks at it, 9 more outs, and 9 more outs as I think Barger or no, Kirk got out. So we got Barger, Clement, Loperfido, Jimenez. So that's 4. Springer, Luke's, Guerrero. So he's the 7th out remaining. So we need to get need to have a big inning, which I guess if they have a big inning, they won't bat in the 9th, so he won't get that second at bat anyways. So I might even try to hedge a little bit right now with the under on him. It's actually probably a good idea. That's a big ticket, 20 to 1 for a bone. All right, so what are we looking at? And this is why I use Odds Jam, guys, and all these things I do talk about. All right, Toronto Astros. I guess I'll pull it up here too. Well, I got you guys on camera. All right, so Blue Jays player props. I don't know if this one will show the live. Um, no. Maybe I can get this in there. No. So what I'm seeing here is hits, runs, RBIs right now. The nice thing about betting like the star-studded players is so under 1.5, 275 on Hard Rock. So that's pretty much the only hedge that I do have. I got to lay 275 to win 100. I don't want to do that. I feel like I should though, right? Kind of a stupid bet, I think. Let's see what kind of free bets I have. Maybe use some. All right. I don't know. What would you guys do? What would you do if you had this one? That's. I just need Vladdy to have. Need Vladdy to have one hit, run, or RBI. I hate just that market because it comes down to like one at bat, seemingly is what it looks like. Oh no, and I need Contreras. Hmm. And we got a Contreras infield single, baby. Let's go. All right. Kurtz and Otani for another big one. Would you guys mess with this? Would you take the under? Huh. Home run bets, man. I can't stand this. Detroit 10-2 over the Yanks right now. Sorry, I'm trying to. All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm about to wrap this one up. I got some work to do. Thank you all for tuning in. I know it wasn't the big live stream we all wanted, but maybe one day we'll get some lives to pop off. And yeah, so appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll have some picks out for the MLB action, and then I will get out my Thursday NFL picks tomorrow, and then also Thursday college football, and then we will have, as always, the Saturday slates and Sundays for sure. So signing off. Appreciate it, guys. Peace.